Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel, RV Tips from Jan. Today's topic, recreational vehicle quality issues. Who is at fault if I find these? I'm going to present to you three different product reviews of the Forest River 25 FKS Surveyor recreational vehicle trailer. This is the same RV that my wife and I have, and in fact, we belong to the Facebook Surveyor group, and 95% of the members of that group are absolutely delighted with their Surveyor RV trailer. And that certainly applies to my wife and myself. But here's three reviews that are less than complimentary. And as you read these, the question I'm going to ask is, who's really at fault for the unhappy consumer? Is it the manufacturer? Is it the dealer? Or is the consumer's expectations really not realistic? Well, thanks to the great folks at RV Insider and their website, RVinsider.com, the following are three reviews of the Forest River 25 front kitchen with slide Surveyor RV trailer. The question I'm going to pose as we go through this presentation is this: who is at fault for these unhappy owners? Is it Forest River as the manufacturer? Is it the dealer who is supposed to do the pre-delivery inspection? Or is it the buyer and the buyer's expectations not being realistic in terms of what they should expect to find in their recreational vehicle trailer? I have an opinion on this I'm going to share with you as we go through this presentation, but I would very much like to hear what you think. So here's the first review. It's 2.5 stars. Again, this is from the folks at RV Insider. They are great at providing insight from consumers who directly write on their website their reviews of various products. So I encourage you to check out RVinsider.com. This review reads as follows: after 1 week, the rains came and it was leaking water. It took me a month to get the dealer to give me the okay to make the 2-hour drive to return it to them. I dropped it off, and it's been 5 weeks, and still I'm waiting on the window. This is money wasted by the time I get the trailer back. My warranty certainly will be shortened considerably. I called Forest River corporate office and talked to a grouchy woman, and it goes on to say, didn't get satisfaction from Forest River either. Well, in this case, I think you'd agree with me that the core issue is the fact that the window leaks, and that squarely falls on the shoulders of Forest River. Somewhere in the manufacturing process, something wasn't quite up to par in terms of how that window was installed. Now, with that said, the fact that it took so long to get the appointment and so long to get the window replaced and repaired is very unfortunate. But this is not unusual with all of the material delays, production issues, and challenges that manufacturers and dealers have had to deal with during the pandemic. And don't be particularly surprised if your RV is tied up for 2 months in a repair such as this. It's really not that abnormal. Here's a second review on the same recreational trailer. It has nearly 4 stars. The review reads again, the RV dealer didn't do a proper PDI before we picked it up. The fuse to keep the slide keeps blowing. Not sure what this issue is until we take it to the shop. Shouldn't have these issues with a new trailer. And maybe if the RV dealer had completed a proper PDI, these issues would have been found and fixed. Absolutely true. The fact that the customer had to find this indicates that the dealer did not do a thorough pre-delivery inspection. The third review, again from RV Insider. Great reviews on this particular website. This is the same RV trailer, the 25 FKS. I noticed rust covering the stairs at the back door and around the tongue. I took photos and sent them to Forest River. They will pay for 30 minutes labor to have the rust scraped and painted. This rust issue to me screams of poor quality, and if the frame is made of the same rusting material as the stair and tongue, I am screwed. Run, run, run from any Forest River product and warn your fellow campers. Well, in my humble opinion, this is just an unrealistic review by this particular consumer. There will be rust spots that will appear on the tongue, possibly on the steps. Stop and think about your hitch receiver on the back of your truck or car. It's not unusual to see that rusting over time. The way you address that is with our friendly Rust-Oleum product. You buy that in the black glossy paint. You keep that somewhere in one of your storage compartments in your RV. And when you see a little bit of rust, you clean that spot thoroughly with some soap and water, let it dry, and then lightly spray over it with the Rust-Oleum black spray. We do this all the time on our levelers, on our hitch receiver, on our hitch itself, and yes, even on little corners of the stairway that might get dinged as a result of stones, pebbles on the road as we're driving. A little bit of rust is not unusual. Now, if it's a lot of rust and it's a brand new RV, the problem may in fact be that it picked up some issues as it was being transported from the manufacturer to the dealer. And in that case, if the dealer does a thorough pre-delivery inspection, they should see that rust and they should take care of that problem. So as we summarize, there's really three issues that need to be addressed. Who's really at fault if we receive an RV and it's brand new and we find quality issues with it? Well, it really depends on the type of quality issue. In the case of the leaking window, it's not reasonable to expect that the dealer would have found that unless the RV was sitting out in the rain. But even then, the RV dealer, in doing their pre-delivery inspection, may not have noticed that there was a leak around the window. In that case, it's really the manufacturer's responsibility and fault. In the case of other issues, operational issues, if you have problems with your refrigerator, with your stove, with your hot water, with your air conditioner, if there's some cosmetic issues on the inside or outside the trailer, those should all be caught and corrected as a part of the pre-delivery inspection. That is the dealer's responsibility. But let me add, prudent consumers will take the time in the buying process before they leave the lot with their new RV to carefully walk through and document any issues that they find with their new RV. You should turn on the air conditioner and try that. You may or may not be able to determine how the heat is working, but you should even try that. The refrigerator, that takes some time to cool, so you're not going to really be able to determine if your refrigerator is working until you take it home and have it operational overnight. Also, as a part of your walkthrough with either your salesman or the designated person from the dealer, they should be showing you how everything works. And as a part of that process, you can take note of anything that's not working up to par or looking up to par. If it's a cosmetic issue, before you take the trailer off the lot, have them address it and correct it. They have the resources to do that, and because they want to sell that RV and get it off their lot, they're going to take care of that fairly quickly in a fairly timely basis. But once you leave the lot with the RV, if you have issues and problems, you may be waiting weeks, if not months, to get your RV back and get out and camping again. There's also the issue of unrealistic expectations on the part of the consumer. And this is how we need to think about this. We talk about the fact that an RV going down the highway is like an RV experiencing an earthquake. And that's really true. Stop and think about how that frame flexes, especially when you hit dips and bumps and potholes. All of these things impact how RV holds up over time. It's not unusual to find some issues develop, and as an RV owner, we need to have the skills to address those. We've probably all seen YouTube videos where owners talk about if you're not mechanically inclined and if you're not comfortable in doing some of your own repairs, don't buy an RV. It's not like a car where you can take it to the dealer overnight and get things taken care of. It does not work that way with an RV. You're going to need to have a complete toolbox, a paint can of black Rust-Oleum paint, some lubricants, spare screws and bolts, things that will help you to address while you're traveling on the road or when you get back from your travels, minor issues that you find with your RV. We've owned ours 2 years and we've done a number of cosmetic as well as mechanical repairs. Nothing really significant, but things that allow us to feel comfortable that we're keeping up to date on the maintenance of our recreational trailer. Keep in mind that owning an RV is nothing like owning an automobile or truck. Owning an RV is going to require us to spend some time doing minor repairs, cosmetic updates, as well as making sure that we're doing the regular maintenance that's required to keep you safe on the highway. Well, I hope that you found this video to be helpful. If you have, please check that subscription button. But as we say at the end of all of our videos, please continue to be safe and stay well. Thank you for watching.